パパラパパーパパパおはようございおはようございます。こんばんは。おやすみ。俺は名前はFumiyo君。我は最強妖怪。よろしくお願いします。Hello, my name is Fumiyo君. I am the best ghost, the only ghost that you need. And welcome to another poetry stream. Another time to relax. Another time to just be ourselves and so just do our own thing. Hello. Oh, hello XYZ. Hello. How are you? I'm doing grand. I've sort of woken up about like an hour ago and here I am just trying to freshen up. Fumiyo's poetry. God damn it. Hello, Protag. You have no job to do, but relaxing. That's all that you will be doing. Hello, I'm bored. Hello. Welcome. All three of you. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to everything. Hello, Lumi. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Welcome, everybody. So, today has been, this week has been quite nice, I haven't really done much this week, except for an endurance stream that God knows I don't know how I completed. But we've done sort of what we could this week. And I think that all of you have also done what you could this week. Which, again, I'm very proud of everyone for doing the best they could. Thank you, everyone, for doing your hard work, studying, doing your work. Be it chores or actual real-life responsibilities. But yes. Everyone, hello. Oh, perfect. I was just about to nap. Well, take a good nap, okay? I'm glad you chose napping over my stream. I'm very proud of you for your endurance stream. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, our poem selections for this specific stream is going to be both from my end, aka the poems that I decided to write, and also going to be from the Discord server. So we're going to be looking on the Discord server to see. I wrote a prompt for this week, but nobody attempted it. I don't know if people didn't know that it was there or people didn't notice it. Which reminds me, I probably should try my best to ping the server when I do poem stuff. What I did this week was be an asshole. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Asshole to the teachers, but yes, I agree, I worked hard. Be nicer to your teachers. Come on, mate. Be nicer. Be nice. Don't be rude or else I won't give you head pats. Or I'll spank you. One of either. So, we're going to be getting some poems from the Discord server as well as basically from mine. Though this one's going to be a very funny story because yesterday I was listening to some ambience, some music that was mostly just waves and all of that. So it wasn't really much per se in terms of like musical capabilities. And I ended up writing this long ass poem that I had to stop myself. Because if I didn't stop myself, this will turn into a full-fledged story. And all of you know that if it turns into a full-fledged story, we're going to be here for a while. You may have ever seen my poem about no profit rate. I have not, and you know what? It's a good opportunity to see it now. Can I ask what your family thinks of you streaming and doing YouTube? My family doesn't mind it. My family's perspective of things is if it doesn't harm my health and or hinder my future, that's fine. Then again, I am in purgatory and I'm dead, so I don't think they would say the matter. But if they were to have me alive, they would probably say, oh yeah, it's fine. As long as I keep my health up, as long as I sleep well and everything. Though they keep on forgetting that their son doesn't really sleep. But they're perfectly fine with it as long as I don't embarrass myself, which I do plenty. So that's nice, eh? So we're going to wait a couple more minutes for people to come in, join in. I don't want people to miss out on certain poems. Because if people miss out on certain poems, I feel bad. I feel like I should have waited a bit longer. So once it hits 10 minutes, we're going to go on and start doing the poems, eh? I think that's a safe time. That's a good enough time. And if that's not a good enough time, I think I've held upon my responsibility fairly well. Though, I will say what I have been doing though. So, I've been looking at my games gallery recently, and I've been looking at games I would like to stream, or games I just generally want to show you guys me playing. Either it's games that are multiplayer, or games that are RPG based. And I was thinking of this concept, which is called Week of Pain, where I'm going to be playing Demon Souls, Returnal, and then another really hard game. Basically just really tough games that will make me rage quit, scream, and or not really feel that great. Which I'm not really sure how that will sit well with me. a week of painful games. Though Demon Souls isn't really painful, that's just really good stuff. As for Returnal, that's painful. Got a new update, 5 gigs. I'm not sure what they added exactly, but we'll see about that. Is Dark Souls going to be in Demon Week? Dark Souls, the thing with Dark Souls is I had a Dark Souls 3 tape, but I've lost it. So unless I either buy it again or one of my friends owns it, I don't think I'm going to be playing Dark Souls in Demon Week. But for Demon Week, it's probably going to just be Demon Souls. It's probably going to be Returnal, and I'm going to do Final Fantasy again. So Demon Week is basically just going to be me punishing myself really, 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 really hard. So I'll be streaming Final Fantasy for a long time, hopefully. Next week, we're going to try our best to finish the entire game in one last stream. So we have 5 more chapters before Final Fantasy finishes. I'm going to try our best to finish it in one sitting, all 5 chapters. Again, trying, so don't hold me up to that promise. As for Returnal, we're going to play some Returnal again. Obviously, Returnal is going to be so repetitive, so I'm going to try my best to stream 1 hour 30 to 2 hours. It might go to 3 hours, who knows? At this point, I don't know. As for Demon Souls, if I can download it within the next 2 days, I will put it happily upon my schedule. But if it's not, then I will go ahead and pick Apex. I want to make Demon Week even more hell, turn streams into an endurance stream. Okay, so I have an issue with that though. The issue I have isn't the fact that I can't endure it. It's more or less that I don't think my laptop's going to handle it. So it's not an endurance stream per se for me. It's an endurance stream per se to the laptop. So the laptop is having to endure surviving so much of the hours. I was really worried because I was streaming for 9 hours of Final Fantasy and I thought that my laptop's just gonna defecate on itself. But granted, it survived and I'm very happy about that. And also starting next week, I will also be debuting my new graphics because I felt like I needed to make my own graphics a little bit. I'm really not that good with designing, but I base it all off of VHS tapes, the T120s, the Scotch, I forgot what the other one's called, but I base it all off VHS designs. Hopefully you guys are going to like it. Hopefully. And also new background music, which I think will be very stupid because we'll be playing Demon Souls, Final Fantasy, as well as Returnal. All three games which requires me not to have a BGM, so I think it's going to be useless. I don't think it's going to be heard yet. So I'll try my best to do an Apex stream as well so you guys can hear it. You do amazing with your graphics, what do you mean? Oh, thank you, you're too kind, Louie. You're too kind. If I don't, I try my best. They turn out just alright. Just about. Fumiyo, you're good at a lot of things. I think you can do anything. Well, you got this. It should be fine. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. And also to address, finally, before we start reading the long ass poem that I have, a lot of people I've heard were complaining about the fact that they don't know when I'm streaming because I don't really say what time I do, even though I schedule it in YouTube. Though granted, I thought that people would check my YouTube channel, but that's not the case. So from starting next week as well, we will have the timing of when the stream will start. All will be in GMT +3, so convert that to your time zone. I will try to add a bot that will do that for you in Discord. If not, I'll do the conversion time myself, and I'll try to do all that. So hopefully I can address all the issues that we had so far, plus, the remaining of everything. But now, let's get to juicy stuff, and by juicy stuff, I mean poetry. So, our first poem, is going to be coming from me. This one is called The Boy and the God. Remember, people are a bit stupid, I don't think. Don't be so rude to them. I would probably think the same way as they do. So, here we go. The Boy and the God. Among the wreckage of man, small little feet tapped away. A young traveller came from afar, walking for more than a day. Most travellers would seek refuge in vehicles to get to their destination. Yet this young one, akin to a pilgrim, took it upon himself to walk with determination. His bare feet resonated with the water puddles underneath his feet, in rhythm with his heartbeat. No one would blame a man as young as him for his loss of nerves, for he is to seek an audience with a god that serves, a god whose name was lost through time like Pan, a god whom like Dionysus had a lineage that ran. Large in stature and mighty were his decorations, small were her visitors, and, well, nominally were his distinctions. The young one bowed with his head against the floor, but the god told him, "Bow to me no more." The young one said, "A bow is a must, out of respect, or my eyes will be struck by Thor." The god said, "I am neither Olympian or Asgardian, my godlyhood is far too bleak." The boy, almost in a hurry, said, "But your influence is far from weak." With a wrinkle on his cheek, the young one once more tried to speak. "I hail from the land of which wish to have you under your guidance." The god, perplexed by the statement, said, "And land requires such sense?" The young one shows his insignia and proclaims, "The land of swords, tigers, and human defense." The god laughed and said, "Never in years have I found someone who lacks thus much common sense." The young one cried out, "With all due respect, I am serious." The god steps off of his stone throne and said, "What you ask of is dangerous. Of the many men and women who came for my aid, they propose your proposition, for it is their land they betrayed. Yet in your state you claim this decision was made to preserve a land whose potential cannot be conveyed." The young one, anticipating acceptance, looked at the god with glee, knowing that in his guidance his land can be free. The god turns around, to his throne he goes, letting the boy know of what he knows. "If it was of personal gain, a wish such as yours would be fine, but to wish for your land without their consciousness is a crime." The young one hurried over to the god and said, "I have many more ideas they know nothing of in my head." He told the god of progression and modernization. He told the god of union between the warring nation. The god lays his head on his hand and told the boy words he couldn't come to understand. For the human race so short in span and naive in mind, too arrogant and ignorant to unwind. There you go. So, that's our first poem of the day. The God and the Boy. I will explain to you what I was thinking of for some reason. Roses are red, violets are blue. I tested positive. God damn it. FN, behave. So, what was I thinking of this? Well, I was sat there in my bed and I was listening to ambience music. It was just basically like, you know, those music that goes, it sounds like ghost recordings. I was listening to that and with a bit of piano in the background, and I think I was influenced by the world premiere of Elden Ring, because this feels more Elden Ring-ish than anything. So the visualization that came into my head is that it's a young boy, not younger than, I'd say, 14 or 15. And he went on and decided to, well, obviously travel to the land to talk to this god, to pursue him, to guide his land who has fallen out of place and fire has died in. So it's very similar to Dark Souls, how the fire was dying out and the unkindled was sent to kindle the fire. It was sort of similar, but it was more like it was a one man's decision to awaken his land, when his land didn't really need it per se, but he felt like they probably do. So I just did that. As for who the god is in question, I have absolutely not even the slightest of ideas. I sort of wrote in a hurry. I didn't really know what it is, because I was thinking in my head, is this like an Olympian god? But then I realized that this is neither Olympian nor Asgardian, so I don't really know who he is or what sort of god he could be. So the closest I think to come to mind would probably be, I was probably thinking of Yom the Giant from Dark Souls 3. The massive, titanic sort of like being whom guided his profane capital into, not submission, more like into continuation. So it's really nice. What's going on? Who is this person? I see, I forgot about that. Hi, Fumi God voice. Thank you. Please stay away from me, stranger. Oh, you two. Oh, come on. Uncle, save me. Oh, Kirade Otaku. Hello. Welcome from the stream. Hello. Welcome. Hi. I hope you enjoy your stay. Oh, God. You two. Come on. Calm down, you two. Now, poetry. Respect the name of poetry, at least. I will say, though, E3 has happened and it was quite a lovely thing, and I think as we're etching closer to Elden Ring, I think the next poetry streams will be about Elden Ring. I know that's going to be what I'm going to be writing about. So please, try your best not to be, annoyed by it. They are doing... Oh, I'm doing quite well. Thank you for asking. Chat seems to be lively, as always. They're very lively, I can see. Alright, let's see. Let's see. What can I use this time? So, we're going to try to find another poem from back in the day. I liked going back to what I've made back in the day. Sort of... It's really fascinating to see what I've been writing, how I've been writing. And who knows what we got. Oh man. So, okay, so I'll behave, everyone. So, let's see. What do we have here? We have this. Okay, got it. Here's an oldie. But very short, so not too much. Like an obsessed painter, I move my brush, captivated by your prospect, infatuated with the structure and composition of your very aspect. A work of Michelangelo, a portrait made by John Singer Sargent. No artist has ever captured what I see. Bold, controlled strokes define your curves to me. You have taken the very definition of the curve and made it yours. Perfectly constructed lines that my heart adores. A smile so wide, ear to ear. A smile that warms this cold heart right here. A drive for an artist such as I to recapture the pleasure I see before my eye. Perfectly distributed proportions all over. I wonder how many places can go above your cover. There you go. I think I was portraying an obsessed painter, yeah? You know how painters or certain writers sort of get really obsessed with trying to describe something? I know that I had to feel that way. I sort of felt that way before when I was writing my book. I wanted to describe something very specific, but I didn't really know how to describe it. And I sort of gone to an obsessive mode, trying my best to describe it as best as I could. But that didn't really land me anywhere. It sort of just really created issues for me. So I became obsessed with trying to define a creature that doesn't exist, or trying to define something that I don't really have the perfect grip of. It's sort of like trying to explain the texture of someone's skin when you've never held them before. Like, what is the texture of Cthulhu's skin? Presumably slimy, but is it smooth? Is it rough? Does it have little pores? Is it like little things are coming out of it? Like, is there something to it? Is the slimy texture very sticky? Is it very sort of, how can I say, very, very dense? Is it very light? Is it what sort of texture it is? And that is something that some painters go through when they wanted to paint something. I remember a story that one of my art teachers told me, which is that there was this one Italian or French painter, whom came to take a painting of this castle every single day, and he became obsessed with painting it. He wanted to paint every part of it, and he painted every single day to the point that the painting sort of got distorted. It slowly became something different. It became a work of insanity. What used to be beautiful colors are now more or less just really faint, or the colors have changed and distorted, or sometimes the proportions and the angles. It's fascinating to see everything. It's fascinating. I shall continue. Oh, yes, please. You said Cthulhu. I thought of the dating sim where she has. Oh, come on. And did Fumiyo show us old art? Oh, I had an idea in mind that I wanted to sort of do for poetry day, or every single Friday basically, is I wanted to more like show to you guys really old pieces of paintings, and I didn't really know if it was something that you guys would really like. I wasn't really sure, because it's something I take pleasure in. I really take pleasure in looking at old poems, old paintings, and I'm not sure if you guys will share that with me, and I might as well attempt it maybe. I might as well at one point, maybe one of these days, but who knows. So, before I do just that, basically show you into a specific painter, I'm going to go ahead and get you another poem of mine that I wrote. Let's see. where do we go from here? Here we are. Alright. So scrolling past, again, old poems, old stuff that I've written. Very, very old stuff. And let's see. I don't want to go too far back because some of the poems exist in my book and I don't want them to be spoiled. Some of them are very fun and interesting. So I want those to be kept alive as much as possible. So we're trying to stray away from those. Let's see. This is not the one I'm looking for. Because, if I had my old book, I had a book that compiled all of my old poems. And we're talking like when I was 13. So you know it was edgy, but just about enough to be cute. Just about enough to be cute. But not really too cute. See. Here we are. So, I am going to... Here we are. So, I'm going to be reading a poem whom I have not been... I've already tweeted it out before, but not a lot of people really saw it because not a lot of people have Twitter. And at the same time, I don't think that people saw it because it wasn't really tagged as a VTuber thing. It was more like I just posted for fun. So we're going to do it. It's called My Uncle Poseidon. If I read this already before doing a stream, I'm so sorry. But I guess you get to relive it again. Yay. So here we are. I was once told by my Uncle Poseidon that people are like hyacinths. He told me that men and women have beautiful exteriors, but it's within that very fragile, well-hidden interiors lies beauty, or perhaps what we deem simply as ugly. I turned to him and said, humans are far more complicated than that. With a chuckle and an arm around me, he said, now that is not a fact, for man strives to be unique and look for individuality, but in reality, they are no more special than those in their family. With a frown on my face, I argued in the human's place. Don't you think that makes no sense, Uncle Poseidon? Why, yes, and that's why your Uncle Zeus is frightened. He said that the dilemma of man is that they want to be different, but at any given moment they want to be part of the covenant. Humans of all ages want to be part of the norm. Everybody wants to find their place in the society where they were born. Yet at the very same time, those whom deem themselves average are usually the sparks that breathe into fires that ravage, burning and changing the rules of everything and anything, with either academics, dance, or through a song they can sing. My Uncle Poseidon said, every human has a merit they know nothing of, but that as worthless members they are not better off. There you go. That is a lovely Uncle Poseidon. I remember coming out of the shower when I wrote this. You know what? One of these days, don't hold me up to this, but one of these days I am going to do poetry week, or not poetry, but poetry day on Friday. It's going to be based on the Olympian gods. So we're going to be writing poems about, Achilles, for example. Not really Achilles is not one. Like Apollo, Hermes, and all that. In a sense, I'm like their nephew. So something like, my uncle Hermes once told me that living life is fast and quick. He told me that to live your life, you must do it quickly before it gets too thick. Because if life gets too thick, your breath starts to feel restricted. And if it is to be restricted, then your heart is to be felt heavied. I don't know what I was saying. I just got that off the top of my head. I don't know. But something sort of like that. Something about the Olympian gods and turn them each to a poem. Like I am some sort of a nephew of theirs that has decided to talk to them for the first time, and what life advice they would have given to you if they were your uncles. Fumiyo still holding you up to that joke along stream. This is an easy feed. No. Don't hold me up to that. I told you. It was a joke. Alright. So, my favourite part of today's stream is checking out the poems in the poem submissions on my Discord server. So, a lot of people. Great poems. Again, lovely poems. Very, very, very lovely poems. I love them. And one thing about these poems that I love a lot is that all of you have gotten really creative with the things that you say. And it makes me really, really happy. So, it's amazing. I'll hold you up to this because I'll pay back for the Octane coin. No, you don't. So, we're going to read one from your local protagonist. This was done in May 31st, 2021 at 6:26 a.m. my time. And he goes, "Concentrate your eyes on darkness, your ears on silence, and thoughts on death. For only amidst darkness shall there be light, and only in silence can there be words, and only in death can there be words." There you go. That's good. That's good. It feels like the beginning of like Dark Souls. Almost. And then again, everything feels like a Dark Souls intro to me right now. But you know what I mean. It would be like, imagine it like this. Oh, imagine this. If you don't mind me adding up to it a little bit, I would probably do it like this. Like, concentrate on your darkness. Concentrate your eyes on darkness, your ears on silence, and thoughts on death. For only amidst darkness shall there be light, and only in silence can there be words. Whispers only heard to those who focus. Whispers only known to those who don't know about the darkness within them. For in every soul there is a mask that hides the light. Like that? I don't know. I'm trying to do an expose. Shit when I did the shit. Shit, when did I write this? You wrote this on May 31st, 2021 at 6 a.m. And you wrote, Inspiration was I smoked a bit too big of a spliff and died a bit too much and conned a while in the dark. And of course, the book The Creation of Ea was a big inspiration as well. That is what you wrote. So you can FST, yeah. So, oh, okay. Let's see. We're going to get another one. Oh, well, I've read these. Oh, I'm gonna do this one. So this is apparently a poem. No, I'm not gonna do my poem. No. Here we are. So, from our resident thinker, from our very resident thinker, our lovely prophecy-related man, T himself. A tribute to folklore. Not deer in the alpacian trail, Loch Ness in the whirling windy sails. In the fog my breath did frail. I remember dead men tell no tales. So, a little thing, sweet little thing. I love folklore-based poems. Have I told everyone about that? I love folklore. I love ones that are based on pre-existing gods, legends, folklore, because it's always like you're working with something that already exists, which means you have a lot of lore, and all you have to do is just work about wording, and it's good. I like it. So again, this was by T, made in the 28th of May 2021 at 5:33 p.m. Love the man. These are our poems. And lastly, last poem from our lovely poems side is one from Mel, which was done in May 27th, 2021. For the darkened, dreadful night, constructed with bones, a hooded cloak filled with fright, with eyes that only she knows. A solitary cry fills the cloudless dead of the night. With eons to go, she only wants home. The wisps drag her with all their might. Her heart stops looking to the eyes of the unknown. Desolate till the end, she accepts, with no family to tend, fate intercepts. A hooded cloak filled with fright is no match to her essence. Her resolve conquers blight, as she is the luminescence. Because she knows who journeys home is the one who conquered the unknown. Beautiful. I love that. That was amazing. Look at that, Mel. Again, this was made by Mel on May 27th, 2021 at 6:20 a.m. That was great. Fumi, you should do poetry based on your own lore. I was thinking of doing that already, but I didn't know if I wanted to put it into Poem Week, like on Friday, or if I should just make its own isolated video. Because there were many ideas I had. For example, I had this idea that I wanted to do where I'm going to basically release occasionally certain videos at random called Poems from Purgatory, where it's just explaining my lore slowly through poems that are edited with like music and sound effects and all that. But I didn't know if people would have liked it, and I didn't know if I wanted to do it because I felt like I should just do one big video for lore related stuff rather than that. And there was this one idea that I also had about 2 days ago called Songs from Purgatory, which is basically where I'd sing songs and then post it out. Where basically what I did was I would sing a specific song that I think relates to my lore and or like the people in Purgatory. And I did that. I sang Achilles Come Down from Gang of Youths, but then I decided not to really publish it. Fumiyo, you can do both. Yeah, I could probably do both. I'll see the logistics of it. I'll see what I can do. I'll probably do it one of these days. Probably just wake up and just go fuck it one of these days. I want to hear your songs. You do not need to. They're not that good. So, we have reached the 34 minute mark, which means it is time for our favorite thing to do. It is reading time. Woo! It's time to read. Oh, hello, Yuna. Hello. Relates to me or those in purgatory. So where's a song about sinners? A lot. Really do. Oh, Yuna. Karaoke? No karaoke. No karaoke. So, it's time for our favorite time of the week. It's going to be story time. Endurance poetry stream. I could probably do that. An endurance poetry stream. I could probably do that. That's just called reading the entire book. It's called reading the entire book and like doing something. Okay, so yeah. Sorry, the Grim Reaper knocked at my door. He said, I'm going to the surface world. Do you want anything? And I just said, I want some creme fraiche. That's all I wanted. Oi, listen, creme fraiche is good with fettuccine alfredo. So, we're doing some lovely reading now. So, for those who have joined us for the first time or have forgotten how things are usually doing, we're going to do the following. So, in the description of this stream is going to be a link called Story. It's a Google Drive link that will send you over to download a chapter of my book that I've written about a long time ago. Download that, please, and read it with me if you would like. If you want to read it with me. If you don't want to read it with me and you just want to read it to yourself, you can download it and then read it at your own time. Or if you would like, you can just close your eyes, lay in bed, and I'll read you the story. That's all you have to do. Pick anything that you are more comfortable with and will make you more comfortable, relaxed, and comfy. Personally, I don't mind anything. I just want to see all of you happy, well relaxed, and comfy. It's been a long week. So, I'm going to give you all about a minute to continue. If you want to simp, I got the name of the published book. No. We're not going to let the world know about my book. That is something that we're not going to do. I'm going to read the book for you. You don't need to buy the book. There's no need to buy the book. There's literally no reason to buy the book. Alright. I guess of water. Thank you. Leak book name. Don't leak the book name. No leaking shall be done. I wanna buy it though. Don't buy it. No. No buying. Don't buy the book. I am literally reading the book for you. Take my money. No. The book name is Protag. Oh, book name, please. Damn it. Well, if all of you have time to tease me and talk about my book, I take it that all of you have time to also be relaxed and have probably downloaded it. So, I'm going to head to my book. Give me a second. There we are. Chapter 17. So this is going to be chapter 17. Chapter 17 is going to basically be a little bit more, a bit longer. It's 20 pages. I didn't want to read the whole thing, like massive. The only reason as to why is I feel like if I read too big of it, we'll be here for a while. And I don't want to do that to you all. Think of me more like a pit stop. It's more like a pit stop, relaxing and then move on with your day or go to bed. So, we're doing chapter number 17. and this is going to be entertaining. This is going to be a backstory regarding Kai, Aiden, and then the whole like wooden cross theater. So a lot of lore is going to be in this one. So again, everyone, away from your keyboards, lay down on your bed, or recline on your chair, get a blanket, get some drink, relax. Let me take care of you, okay? Thank you. All right. You know, quiet down, everyone. Behave. Chapter number 17. The Burning of Pinecrest. I remember it as clear as day. I will never mistake it for a nightmare, for no nightmare could ever be more grueling. An event I say in hopes I am not to be accused of being a liar for what I've done is easily believed, but what it meant is harder to believe. In a village far away from Arusa, I was sent along with my father and his squadron. Our mission was simple. It was to recruit new members into the order. Those who were good with their hands are to do the heavy lifting in terms of equipment or partake in the very order I was in. Those who had intelligence were given the title of the actor and the protection of the wooden cross. At the time, we never really knew the reason as to why we were sent here. Of all the places in the kingdom, we were made to come here by the High Order. Though there were better candidates over the mountains, nonetheless, we had to follow our superior's order. "Kai," said a voice calling out to me. He had a chirpy tone to his voice and lacked any form of gravel in it. As clear and as smooth as honey, my young colleague approached me. The gallops of his horse grew shorter, producing an arpeggio-like sound to them. He rode near me as we spoke. "What is it?" I said, matching my speed with his. "Have you interviewed the families near the well?" he said. "I was on my way until you interrupted me," I said. I looked down at my papers for a list of names of the families I was in charge of. Most of them crossed out except for two. They were the Samaras and the Pantralopes family. My colleague halts our horse, telling us that we have made it to the Samaras' house. It was a fairly larger house than all of the other ones in the village, being the house of a blacksmith as well as a village chief. I got off of my horse and approached the door, knocking on it twice. "Is anyone there?" I said. The door opened slowly, with a little boy peering through it. He was very short for his age and gripped the end of the door. He thought that if I was someone of danger, he would have the door shut. I kneeled down to get to the boy's height. I looked him in the eye and gave him a little smile, telling him I was not foe. He opened the door further, allowing me to get in. I looked at my colleague to gesture him to come in. He went and tied our horses to a pole and joined me shortly. As expected, the house from the inside was full of worldly luxuries, from paintings, carpets, and a small worldly hands of books tucked away in a shelf. The tables had different little statues on them. One of a little iron fox, another of a mask with flowers, and finally a decorative knife etched into it are local folk tales of the neck as well as the banshee. "Oh, how may I help you?" said a voice to my right. "Are you Mrs. Samaras?" I said. "Yes, that would be me. Are you two the recruiters from the Wooden Cross?" he said. "Yes, we are. You wanted to know if you are interested in having your son to be part of our theatre," I said. "That is an offer one would have a hard time declining, but perhaps you should ask my son. After all, he is the one you came here for," he said. He was a young man, presumably in his 50s or late 40s. He wore a white button-up shirt and a black pair of trousers. He was balding from the top of his head, with only fragments of his hair remaining intact from the sides. Surprisingly, they maintained their colour with no hues lighter. Mr. Samaras stood behind his son, bringing him ever so closely to me. The boy attempted to stand up straight, but it seems like his back wasn't used to doing such a thing either. Either that, or his back was straighter than it needed to be. "Hello there. How are you?" I said. "I'm good, thanks," he said softly. "Do you know why we've asked for you?" I said. "Father said you two are from the big city and have come here to take me away," he said. "Not without your family, don't worry." "What's your name?" I said. He looked up to his father, as if to ask for permission to say his name. He looked back at me and said, "Joseph. Joseph Samaras," Joseph said. "Nice to meet you, Joseph Samaras. My name is Kai Crawford, and this here with me is Andrew Lycus," I said. "Pleasure." Andrew smiled with a smile. Well, Andrew replied with a smile, sorry. Andrew and I spent a short period in the house. The father told his son of the wonders of the stage and how he too was an actor in his elder years. The father retired in his 30s after getting married due to his wife wanting him to settle down. He showed us around his house and his forge, bragging to us about his craftsmanship and the passion he puts into his work. Oddly enough, the way he spoke attracted both of our attentions, having most of that short-lived visit be allotted to two young actors listening to their senior about he made props for the theatre. "Got a lovely family," said Andrew. "Lovely. I feel as if I have to say adaptable is better. The kid has a lot of potential and will be a great asset to the Wooden Cross," I said. "He does hail from a master props maker and a retired actor. He would have his father's skills and his genes, or at least the prowess of it," Andrew said. We had a conversation as we walked to Samara's neighbour, the Pandrolopus. Unlike the previous house, theirs had a garden filled with flowers of all kinds. Pots and patches of it coloured their side of the neighbourhood, ranging from more ordinary flowers to uncommon and peculiar ones. I knocked on the door and immediately got an answer. "Coming," a voice said behind the door. A woman came to the front to greet us. "How may I be of help?" she said. "Miss Pandolopus?" I said. "Yes, that would be me. How can I help you two fine gentlemen today?" She spoke with confidence and care. Her voice had warmth and softness, and it could be heard from her voice, but though her facial expression displayed arrogance, it was kind. It was the kind that you would find charming. "We are recruits from the city. We came to cast your children, or perhaps anyone older," I said. "Oh, why, come in. We wouldn't want the winds to blow away a cold your way," she said, urging us to come into her house. Andrew closely followed, lowering his head as he entered as a form of politeness. The house, from which inside was fairly simple, with minimal furniture and carpeting, no trinkets or art-based decorations in sight. "Michael, Fiona," the woman shouted. In an instant, laughter was heard from the small corridor. Two little children came running forth to the table. They were running in circles around the table, with the little girl chasing the little boy. The woman lowered herself to catch the boy, lifting him off of his feet and onto her shoulder, where she carried him for a little bit. He laughed and smiled while the little girl kept on jumping, trying to reach the small little boy. "Oh, my apologies, gentlemen. My children, as you can see, know no manners," the mother said. "It's fine, an apology is not needed. They are ever so old, after all. When they grow young, I'm certain they will be great," I said. "I sure hope so. The boy is very cowardly, while the girl is far too adventurous. These two together are enough trouble for the whole village," the mother said. "The recruits are trouble as well to us, but we have grown accustomed to it," Andrew said. "Well, you'll have a whole new world of trouble once you have these two," the mother laughed. Seeing their mother laugh, the two children did so as well. "I've heard the name of your children, as you were calling them, but for the sake of formalities, may you have them say it, one after the other with their respected family name," I said. The little boy puts his fingers in his mouth and tried to say his name, but it sounded like mumble more than anything. His mother takes his fingers out of his mouth and he repeated his name. "My name is Michael Pandrolopus," he said, raising his volume at the last letter, the very last letter. The girl quickly followed with her introduction. "My name is Fiona Pandrolopus," she said, even louder than her brother. Andrew noted down their names, and we proceeded with regarding the regular questioning. "Does your husband and or you have any records of being actors?" I said. "My husband has an excessive record of achievements. I have nothing of that sort when it comes to acting," she said. "What were you then?" I asked. "I was a servant at the Pandrolopus household. Their father golded me when all of his relatives saw silver to be more fitting," she said, being proud of the fact. "Is your husband currently still in service?" I said. "Yes, he is an actor in the Moon Crescent Theatre," she replied. "Moon Crescent," I replied. At the same time, the treaty was not established. All theatres involved viewed the outer world of Arusa as a buffet or crops waiting to be harvested, while the Moon Crescent found their grip through taking in anyone and everyone, nurturing them slowly. The Wooden Cross sought out to seek talent. Andrew tugged on my clothes to get my attention. "Excuse me," I said. I turned around to face Andrew, who displayed concern. What would we do? They might change their mind if they were to find out that we were part of the Wooden Cross. Andrew whispered. "At ease. It's the children's choice, not theirs, whether they come with us or not," I replied. "Will we require to lie to them and then tell them the truth when it's too late, Andrew said. If they are to display talents worthy of such a sin, then I'll gladly take it. But if not, then we will walk away as if nothing happened, I said. Of course, I said those words not knowing what I know today. If only we said the truth, then could have the village been there rather than barren lands of graves. Drink some water. Thank you. The little boy showed some promise in literary skills and response time. Andrew concurred that he would be great at improvising plays or perhaps getting his feedback at scripts our director had for us. But the girl, she lacked any skills to be of use in the acting field. She showed little to no tonal control and giggled for most of her performances. When it came to strength, she displayed average power, not being too strong or too weak. Andrew, who was conducting the strength test, came to me with a distressed look on his face. A piece of paper folded to the side of his palm was given to me. You will understand more once you see what's on the paper, he said. I never saw him panic, but soon I was to share it. I have to go to work now. See everyone. Oh, later. Take care. Be safe, Lumi. And also, I am with you on that, Lumi. What? Think of it as a pit stop. So there's cursing and hot sticky goose stuff. Oi. Everyone be quiet. Behave. Come on. The paper foretold of a little girl destined to mother the egg of Valthrim. It was one of the wooden crosses written and most sought after prophecies. Many orders have given up on it, only mentioning it in humor or spirit. The higher order reminds us to practice that belief and to search the back of the hand of every child we recruit, for that one day. Who have you told? I asked, understanding the dire situation that we are in. I've told no one. I've come straight to you, Andrew said. The fear of what is to come hovered over my shoulder. I had a duty to fulfill as an actor, as well as a name to live up to, if I wanted to make my father proud. Pushed forth my need to prove to my father that I am of worth. Andrew and I returned to our colleagues at the main entrance of the village. Men and their horses, some walking about, all wearing masks and some wearing rented faces, laughing and exchanging stories between each other. Father, I said. He instantly stopped his laughter to look at me. What is it, young actor? He said. I passed him the paper. Please open it, sir, I said. Unfolding it, he saw the writings of the prophecy. He turned around to his comrades to laugh at me. Do you still believe in such a prophecy, young boy? Surely this is an attempt at an awful joke, he said. I'm afraid this is no laughing matter. My junior, Andrew Lykios, bears witness to it. Andrew moves forward to my father. Yes, it is true, sir. The child whom will bear the egg is present within this village. Her name is Fiona Pandrolopis. She lives by the river, surrounded by a garden of flowers, Andrew said. Right. Well, Kai and Andrew, it is your duty to seize her and bring her into the wooden cross, Father said. Yes, sir, I said. Father returned back to his group. I turned around to Andrew to devise a plan that will assure us of her capture. We didn't have much say in it, whether we were to even allowed to. We were just doing what we were told and what we considered just at the time. Oh, how naive we were. In the span of a month, we attempted pursuing the Pandrolopis to give their daughter to us, but her mother as well as her father declined kindly, pinning them with benefits, wealth, and even status. Believe me, we tried everything. They would not trade their children. The father who lived his entire life as an actor knew how hard it was and wished no such thing did his children. Miss Pandrolopis was very kind, letting us in whenever we came to convince her. She provided us with tea and some supper or breakfast. If we came at the early hours of the day, the father was kind too, in the regard he would listen in neatly. He would listen in to us keenly. On us, perhaps it was out of kindness rather than interest. As the day passed and grew larger, the responses grew harsher and with reason. We became desperate for the girl, and the higher order grew impatient with our inability to bring the girl. Amidst those days came a day unlike any I have lived so far. It was the 7th day of getting kicked out of the Pandrolopis household. I sat by a fallen tree while Andrew went to let the horses have a drink. As I had my head closer to my knees, I saw a weaved basket come into sight. A little girl with a white one-piece dress held it up to my face, pushing it towards me, telling me to take it. When are you giving up, sir? Said Fiona. Giving up is not allowed. That is something I can't afford, I said. She sat down next to me, swinging her legs back and forth, while her eyes were looking at the sky. She was a young, innocent girl. I pitied her whenever I laid eyes on her. She never really said anything. She sat in silence. Occasionally she would look at me, but never turned her gaze away when I caught her. She stared until her eyes content, and I didn't want to question her. After some time, Andrew came back with the horses. He saw me with the girl and thought the parents finally agreed, but I had to tell him that that was not the case at all. I stood up from the tree, using my hands on my knees to propel myself up. I took the basket to Andrew and gave it to him. He smiled a little and smiled even bigger with the girl. We rode our horses, but not without saying goodbye to the girl. She waved back at us, even though she knew we were taking her away from her family. On the 28th day of the month, I was summoned by my father to his office. Upon entry, he was looking at the young actors he trained through the glass plane. I never knew if he admired them or he hated them, but I knew to some extent he liked to take credit for their creation and their fruition. "You've called for me, sire," I said as I entered. "How long has it been since I asked you to deal with the girl?" my father said. "It's been 28 days, sir," I said. 28. He emphasized on every word. It's been 28 days and the girl has not come into our possession. "How long are you going to make the director wait?" he said angrily. "I'm sorry, sir. You dare sully the name of the theatre, the family and mine as well," he said, interrupting me. "I'm sorry, sir." Father took a deep breath in an attempt to calm himself down. After composing himself to a degree he saw fit, he continued. "The director and the wooden cross have been in search of that girl for centuries. Many of our ancestors have failed to," my father said. "Give me more time, father, I promise you. I'll have her by then," I said. I desperately asked for more time. I knew what he wanted to do, but alas, it happened. On the following day, the village was burned to ash, women and children and their houses destroyed and reduced into nothingness. The order made sure to eliminate everything that had to do with this village, making it seem like it never existed. I sat there and watched as mothers carried their children, people trying to save their houses only to be killed by the order. Among the bodies were men and women decapitated, some crawling on their feet, begging for mercy, but there was no mercy to be given to these people in the eyes of the order. My fate felt a grip on it. A man with both of his legs cut off, covered in gravel. He struggled to move and has moved quite a bit of distance. His arm from his hand to his shoulders were filled with cuts and dirt. "Please, save me," he muttered. Whether it is the loss of power that prevented the man from raising his volume, or the lack of faith, he saw me and knew who I was, but yet he asked for help from me. His eyes looked at me. It was as if I was a god he was worshipping and asking for a miracle. The tears and the pain caused his eyes to turn reflective. I saw myself in those eyes. Or perhaps it wasn't me who I saw, but instead what he saw. In his eyes I saw someone larger than life, a colossal titan who held the balance of life and death. In his eyes I was either the executioner or his savior. He cried out. It was not lack of power to scream louder. It was his admit to defeat. He knew I was going to kill him no matter what. He clung to his life only at the release of his breath. I noticed how hard his grip was. I drove a sword down his spine. Was it the sight of killing an innocent man? Or was it the weakness of my arms after years of pace? On that day, I questioned my strength to dig my sword into him, but I knew deep down I never had it in me to do such a thing. I left my sword on his body to serve as a reminder to myself and to my comrades that the kill was mine. I was to be held responsible. Was it honor? Was it wishful thinking? At the moment, I looked at my actions, hoping someone were to come later in their lives to avenge it, but I highly doubt that now. Fire ate through the village, eating man, cattle, and the memories that came along with it. The embers danced from house to house, bringing its never-ending appetite with it. It ate away at everything in sight, no matter what it was. Pillars that were used to support the structures served no such purpose anymore. They attacked the inhabitants they once protected from the roof above their heads. I walked and watched as the order did what they saw as just. They did what they did because they believed it was true, and nonetheless it is true. There was no one to oppose them on their ideals and execution. They had a monopoly on that moral. In the middle of the village, 4 people were brought to their knees. Even from afar I could recognize the children and their parents. The mother and the father kneeled before their children. The boy cried, but his sister kept trying to comfort him. She held his head to her shoulder, rubbing his back, but that only served to make his cries louder. I approached the order who were in charge of them. The parents quickly looked at me. The mother tried getting up, but she was pinned down by the soldiers. The father remained steady as his wife tried her best to wrestle from her captives. The order were laughing. The fires grew higher. This looked more like a festivity than a pillage. I knew it had to be done. It was the only way out of it for the children. All I could do was make it easier for them. I grabbed one of the swords from one of the soldiers. I looked at my reflection through the blade. I saw my eyes reflecting the man I became. 2 hands on the hilt of the blade. Although made out of leather, it felt like thorns to me. I never wanted to swing, but I had to. I placed the blade on the mother's neck, raising the sword above my head, and drove straight down onto her. I closed my eyes. I thought I could run away from it, but I couldn't. The sound of her children screaming, the sound of her head hitting the ground was very audible. As if I developed selective hearing at the same time, I could only hear, I could differentiate between the noises I heard. Whatever I did to stop myself visualizing it made it even harder. If anything, it heightened my awareness to it. Yet the sound of the screaming was muffled by the sound of cheering and laughter. The order raveled at this event. They found it amusing. They made fun of the boy for crying, said that he shouldn't have cried and that it was their fault for not surrendering his sister. One of the soldiers had an adrenaline overcome him. He unsheathed his blade, finishing off the father with a far quicker swing than I could have ever mustered at that moment. His comrades applauded him for his clean execution, but what part of it was clean? I was just thankful at the prospect of not having to kill someone else on that day, but nonetheless, the guilt never stopped. The girl and the boy were taken as captives into the wooden cross. That was my take on it, but the order thought of it more as a forceful way of recruiting. The siblings spent all 6 months together. The sister was the main pillar which the brother found comfort, whether it was due to him knowing that she was the last of his family, or that she was the only one willing to listen to him cry all throughout his days and nights. To my father, I had to redeem myself. I was assigned a commanding officer of the new order created to keep the siblings in the theatre and guard them until the rise of the second moon. Truthfully, the wooden cross needed the girl, not the boy. But whenever the boy was threatened, she would threaten them back by claiming she would take her own life. She became obedient to my father. She has listened as long as her brother was left alone to live alive. She knew she could never share. To her, the life of youth ended a long time ago when she was taken away from her home. With the passing of the remaining 6 months of the year, the boy was moved out of the wooden cross, while his sister did not receive the same treatment. She was moved into her own private chamber, a singular room where she is to be locked up. She was instructed to never leave the room, to never hurt herself, and to never attract the attention of anyone. She listened to every word and every letter of it, never even once trying to find a hole around it, and her listening was rewarded. She was given the egg of Valkyrie to keep and grow alongside her limited time span. As for the boy, it was given to an older man in the theatre of the of the crescent moon. Need water, give me a second. Thank you. Here we go. As for the boy, he was given to an old man in the theatre of the crescent moon. He used to be drugged on a daily basis to forget his memories, and what became of him was nothing short of a miracle. He grew taller, he grew stronger, and just like his sister, he grew curious, asking about where he was from and who he is, but the old man gave no such answers to him as I've instructed him to. I would come to visit often in his earlier years, but soon I was to live a life anew, but not as one would expect, for in the eyes of the order I have shamed and tainted their name. The greatest sin of all to them was the idea of being two-faced, to have a face you would give to someone while the other remains unaware of the other. As a compensation, my father thought it would be more beneficial to the order and the sanity of his own son if I were to have my face taken away from me. alongside many others who wore masks to hide who we were and what we've become. Having taken enough of all of that has transpired, I left the Wooden Cross Theatre. I abandoned my post as the girl's personal guard and my carer, instead became the boy's. I ran away and saw a face alongside with me, a face I have no recollection of knowing. Slowly, with the help of the old man, I was able to integrate myself into the Crescent Moon Theatre, where I served to protect and assist in the growth of the boy. And that is the end of chapter 17, which is also coincidentally the end of also today's stream. So I didn't want to read too much, because if I read too much, which is the next chapter, that chapter's going to be also quite long, and the chapters are getting lengthier as we go now, which means that streams might get a bit longer. I'm not sure. Who knows? But yes, that is the end of that chapter. Hope you guys like it. Book name? I will not tell you. I'll not tell anyone of my book name. Don't worry about it though. I'm bored. Hey, listen, I am literally not even joking. I'm reading the book for you, so you don't have to buy the book. If you want to read the book more, just download the chapters from every stream and then compile them if you really want to. But I'm reading the book for you, so you don't have to buy it. But thank you, I appreciate the thought. Wow, 1 hour already? Yeah, it's been an hour. I like the chapter. I'm glad you like the chapter. So, next chapter is going to be the Egg of Valkyrie, aka more about who Fiona is, what is going on, who is Kai, who is, Aiden, and all that lovely stuff. And I hope, and I do hope that, it's going to be interesting. I would like to say that this is where things pick up from what I remember. From what I remember, this part of the book is where things started picking up more in terms of lore base, and I guess you could say action base. Not really sure. But yeah, thank you for listening. I hope all of you got comfortable and comfy and, there. Fumi songs are exciting. Fumi songs? Songs? I don't have any songs. What? What do you mean by songs? So excited. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that all of you are excited. Oh, Fumi action. Yeah. I hope all of you, are looking forward to it as much as I am. I have forgotten the book just a little bit, just about enough to the point that I'm experiencing this book from, just getting into it. So I have just about enough knowledge of the book to know what's going on, but not enough to know exactly what it is that is there. So yeah, another one in the works. Oh, thank you, T. Too kind. Oh, hi Jazzy, welcome. Stream is ending soon. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Stream is ending soon. But yes, so to prevent streams, people joining streams very late, or people not knowing when streams are going to be happening, I am going to be posting both on Twitter and on Discord, the same usual schedule that I always do, but with timings this time so people know exactly when I'm going to be going live. But again, before I go, everyone, thank you so much, everyone, for joining my stream today. Last words that I have before I go: thank you so much for all the hard work that all of you have been putting through in terms of your work, studies, family, and I hope that all of you, love yourself and take care of yourselves. Eat well, sleep well, drink a lot of water, please. I do worry about all of you when I don't know that if you're eating or anything, but please, you take care of yourself. Be nice to yourself, be kind to yourself. Do something to pamper yourself today. It's Friday, it's the weekend. Enjoy your weekends. Watch some anime, maybe watch some TV shows, play some games. Just be happy and be safe, okay? What? I'm late, sad. Oh, I'm sorry, Bob. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe next time, eh? I try my best to remind everyone next time. Say that to yourself. No, I don't need to. See no evil, hear no evil. But anyway, my name has been Fumiyo-kun. Konbanwa, oyasumi, ohayou gozaimasu. Bye everyone. Drink your water and wear your seatbelts. Ja ne. I love you all. Bye. Bye.